Tarek Nader squinted at the emergency lights flashing across his cockpit. The research vessel's systems were failing rapidly as it approached the iridescent moon. Mayday, mayday. This is Explorer Tarek Nader. My ship has sustained critical damage from the meteor shower. Systems failing. I'm on collision course with Lumina. Please respond. Static answered his desperate call. He knew why Lumina was classified as a restricted zone by the Galactic Federation. No rescue would come. The ship's hull groaned as it entered the moon's atmosphere, breaking apart around him. His last thought before impact was of his sister on Earth, waiting for his return. When consciousness returned, Tarek found himself lying on a bed of what appeared to be living crystal. The chamber around him pulsed with gentle blue light. His body felt strangely weightless, absent of the pain he should have felt after such a crash. "He's awake," came a melodic voice. Tarek turned to see two figures approach. They were humanoid, with delicate features that seemed to shimmer as they moved. Their skin had a subtle purple luminescence that brightened with each step. One had her long, flowing hair adorned with crystalline ornaments, while the other wore hers in intricate braids wrapped with silver threads. "Welcome to Lumina," said the one with braids, her voice like wind through chimes. "I am Mira, and this is my sister Vila." Vila, taller and with more intense eyes, crossed her arms. "You shouldn't be here, human. This moon is forbidden to your kind." Tarek tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness forced him back down. "My ship. There was an accident." "I didn't mean to trespass," Mira approached, placing a cool hand on his forehead. "Your vessel is destroyed. You were nearly gone when we found you." "How am I alive?" Tarek asked, noticing for the first time the faint purple glow beneath his skin, the same shade as the sisters. Vela stepped forward. "We performed the essence sharing. It was the only way to save you." "What does that mean?" Tarek felt a strange tug in his chest, like an invisible thread pulling toward the sisters. Mira exchanged a meaningful glance with Vela before explaining. "We Luminari survive through connection. Our life essence is meant to be shared, bonded with those we choose. Without such bonds, we wither and fade." "We had no choice," Vela added, her tone suggesting she might have chosen differently, given the option. "Your life was fading. We used our essence to revive you, but in doing so, ... In doing so, we created a bond," Mira finished. "Our essences are now linked with yours. We are connected." Tarek noticed a faint glow emanating from a point on his chest, directly over his heart. The same glow shimmered from similar points on each sister. "Can it be broken?" he asked. The sisters' expressions grew solemn. "Not without consequences," Vila said. "Breaking a bond once formed causes great suffering, and often death." "So I'm your prisoner?" Tarek asked, tension rising in his voice. Mira shook her head gently. "Not a prisoner. Never that. But we are now bound together by forces beyond simple choice. Our lives are intertwined." Vila moved to a crystal panel in the wall, waving her hand across its surface. "The Luminari Council must not know of this. Bonding with humans is forbidden. We risked everything to save you." Tarek slowly stood, testing his strength. "Why would you take such a risk for a stranger?" Mira smiled softly. "Because all life is precious, and because... double quotes." She hesitated. Vila finished, her intense gaze meeting his. "Humans have been forbidden to us for generations, yet here you are." As Tarek stood between them, he felt it a subtle but undeniable pull, like gravity from two different directions. Something about these sisters had changed him fundamentally, and he sensed that his future had just become vastly more complicated than any space mission could have prepared him. For the following days on Lumina were a haze of new experiences for Tarek. The crystal dwelling of the sisters was hidden within a vast forest of bioluminescent vegetation, where trees reached skyward with translucent branches that collected the light of distant stars. "Our people have lived in harmony with Lumina for millennia," Mira explained, as she guided Tarek through a garden of pulsing flora. Her gentle movements seemed to make the plants respond, leaning toward her as if drawn by an invisible force. "The essence bond you share with us is similar to how we connect with our world." Tarek watched, fascinated as she touched a flower that immediately brightened, its petals opening to reveal a glowing center. Every luminary forms bonds throughout their life, she continued, usually with our own kind, sometimes with other compatible species, never with humans. Until now, why are humans forbidden? Tarek asked, noticing how the purple glow beneath his skin brightened whenever either sister was near. Politics, Vila interjected, appearing suddenly from between the trees. Unlike her sister's flowing movements, Vela moved with purpose and intensity. Centuries ago, humans attempted to colonize Lumina. There was conflict, misunderstanding. The council decided your species was too volatile, too unpredictable for bonding. Yet you bonded with me anyway, Tarek observed. Vila's eyes flashed. We made a choice in a moment of crisis. Now, we all must live with the consequences. Later that evening, as luminous 3 moons rose in the sky, Tarek felt a sharp pain in his chest. He doubled over, gasping. The sisters rushed to him immediately, as if they had felt his distress. The bond is weakening, Vila said, concern breaking through her usually guarded expression. It needs to be strengthened. Mira took Tarek's hand. The initial essence sharing saved your life, but a true bond requires deeper connection. Without it, the link between us will fade, and with it, our shared life force. What do we need to do? Tarek asked, the pain slowly subsiding as the sisters remained close. Share, Mira said simply. Memories, feelings, experiences. The essence bond thrives on emotional connection. That night, beneath the crystalline ceiling of their dwelling, the 3 sat in a triangle. At Mira's instruction, Tarek closed his eyes and focused on the subtle pull he felt toward them. Think of a memory, Vela instructed, something meaningful to you. Tarek thought of his last day on Earth, the sunset over the Pacific Ocean, his sister's tearful farewell. It was the mixture of fear and excitement as he embarked on his mission, as the memory formed in his mind. He felt a strange sensation, as if the experience was being gently extracted and shared. Then, suddenly, he wasn't just remembering, he was experiencing memories that weren't his own. He saw Lumina through younger eyes, Mira and Vela as children, racing through forests that seemed even more vibrant than now. He felt their joy, their sisterly bond, their curiosity about the stars. When he opened his eyes, Tarek found tears streaming down his face. Across from him, Mira was smiling through her own tears, while Vila looked away, clearly moved but unwilling to show it. That's how the bond works, Mira explained softly. Not just physical healing, but emotional sharing. Our people believe that in sharing ourselves, we become more than we could be alone. The pain in Tarek's chest had completely disappeared, replaced by a warm glow that spread throughout his body. The purple luminescence beneath his skin had deepened, matching the sisters more closely. It'll get easier, Vela said, her voice unusually gentle, and more ... intense. The bond seeks balance and completion. Tarek nodded, understanding dawning. So we're not just connected by some magical force. It's deeper than that. Much deeper, Mira confirmed. In saving your life, we've begun a journey that will change all of us. The essence bond isn't just about survival, it's about transformation. As night deepened outside their sanctuary, Tarek felt something he hadn't expected after his crash hope. Whatever this connection was, wherever it might lead, he was no longer alone in the vastness of space. Weeks passed, and Tarek found himself adapting to life on Lumina with surprising ease. The essence bond grew stronger daily, allowing him to sense the sisters' emotions even when they were apart. It was most powerful with Vila. Her fierce spirit resonated with his own determination, creating a connection that often left them both breathless when their eyes met. With Myra, the bond manifested differently, a gentle, steady flow of warmth and understanding that soothed his homesickness and fear. Each bond is unique, Mira explained one evening as she taught Tarek to play a luminary string instrument that responded to both touch and emotion. Like your human fingerprints, no 2 connections are identical. As she guided his hands over the strings, Tarek felt the now familiar rush of shared consciousness, a brief glimpse into her thoughts, her feelings. He saw himself through her eyes, fascinating, brave, but carrying a sadness she longed to heal. The moment passed, leaving them both slightly flushed with the intimacy of the exchange. Is it always this, intense? Between your people? Tarek asked. Myra's luminescence brightened slightly, the luminary equivalent of a blush. Not always. The strength of a bond reflects its potential. Later that night, Tarek found Vela alone at the edge of a crystal pool, her reflection shimmering in the water. Unlike her sister, Vela had maintained a certain distance, despite their growing connection. You're thinking of Earth, she said without turning. The bond made secrets difficult to keep. Tarek sat beside her. Sometimes, it's still home, and you miss it, Vela stated. Not a question. Yes, but I'm also discovering things here I never imagined possible, he hesitated. Including how I feel about you. Both of you. Vela turned to face him, her intense eyes searching his. Humans form pairs. One mate, one bond. Our ways are different. I'm beginning to understand that, Tarek said. The bond with you and Mirit's different, but both are real. Both matter. Something in Vela seemed to soften. When we saved you, I resisted the bond. I thought it would make us vulnerable. I was wrong. She moved closer, the glow between them brightening. It has made us stronger. The connection between them surged, and this time, Tarek didn't just glimpse her thoughts. He was immersed in them. He felt her initial reluctance giving way to fascination, then to something deeper. He saw her secret journeys to watch Earth through Lumina's observatories, her lifelong curiosity about the forbidden humans. When the vision faded, they were inches apart. The pull between them undeniable. This is why human bonding was forbidden, Vela whispered. The council feared we would lose ourselves in such connections. And would that be so terrible? Tarek asked. Their lips met, and the essence bond flared between them like a supernova. For a moment, Tarek couldn't tell where his consciousness ended and hers began. It was frightening and exhilarating, like falling into the stars themselves. When they separated, Vela's usual composure was shaken. The council monitors unusual essence activity. They may have sensed that, as summoned by her words. A distant alarm began to sound through the crystal forest. Mira appeared at the entrance to their dwelling, her expression troubled. Council searchers, she said urgently. They're coming this way. Vela stood quickly, helping Tarek to his feet. They must have detected the bond's activation. What happens if they find us? Tarek asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. Separation, Mira said, the word heavy with dread. They would break the bond by force, which would kill us all, Vela finished. We need to move now. As they gathered essential supplies, Tarek felt the weight of his presence in their lives. The sisters had saved him, but in doing so, they had placed themselves in grave danger. The bond that connected them, that had grown into something far beyond mere survival, now threatened them all. Yet as they prepared to flee deeper into Lumina's wilderness, Tarek realized he wouldn't trade this connection for safety. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Three hearts now orbiting each other like celestial bodies, unable to break free without destroying the system that sustained them all. The deeper regions of Lumina revealed wonders. Tarek had never imagined floating islands of crystals suspended by electromagnetic forces, valleys where gravity shifted with the phases of the moons, and hidden caves glowing with ancient bioluminescent art. For 3 days they traveled through these marvels, always one step ahead of the council's searchers. We can't run forever, Tarek said as they rested in a cavern whose ceiling mimicked the star patterns of distant galaxies. The essence bond had continued to strengthen, allowing them to communicate in brief emotional impressions even without words. Mira sat cross-legged, her eyes closed in concentration. I'm reaching out to Lyris, an elder who once opposed the human restriction. She might help us plead our case. Vela paced the cavern, her purple luminescence flaring with agitation. The council follows laws written after the last human contact. They won't be easily swayed. Then we need to change their minds, Tarek suggested. Through the bond, he felt Vela's doubt and Mira's cautious hope. Show them what this connection truly is, not what they fear it to be. That night, As Mira slept, Tarek found Vila at the cavern's entrance. Staring at the distant lights of the Luminari capital city, "You're planning something," he said. Sensing her resolve through their connection, the bond between us, "It's unlike anything in our records," she admitted, turning to face him. "When we connected by the pool, I accessed memories of your world, your science, combined with our understanding of essence energy, ... You think we could demonstrate something new to the Council?" Tarek finished her thought. Vila nodded. "A true symbiosis. Not just emotional connection, but a merging of knowledge that benefits both species." She reached for his hand, and as their fingers intertwined, Tarek felt the now familiar rush of shared consciousness, but this time he actively participated, focusing on his knowledge of Earth's technologies that might complement Luminari essence manipulation. The purple glow between them intensified, forming patterns in the air around the mathematical equations, molecular structures. "New possibilities. This is what we'll show them," Vila whispered. "Not just three beings connected, but two worlds with the potential to heal each other." At dawn, they were awakened by the sound of crystal resonators. The Council had found them. A dozen Luminari officials surrounded the cavern, their ceremonial robes shimmering in the early light. "Vela and Mira of House Valoran," announced a tall figure whose age showed in the deep violet of her skin. "You stand accused of forbidden bonding with a human entity. Such connections are prohibited by the ancient decree." Mira stepped forward. "Hi, Elder Sira. We claim the right of demonstration. Before judgment is passed, we ask to show what this bond has created." Elder Sira's expression remained stern, but she nodded once the ancient laws required that such a request be granted in the great chamber of the Council. Hundreds of Luminari gathered to witness the proceedings. Tarek stood between the sisters, acutely aware of the disapproving murmurs around them. "The human will be examined first," Elder Sira declared, "to assess whether his mind has been compromised by the bond." The Council sensitives approached Tarek, placing their hands near his temples without touching him. He felt their presence in his mind, clinical, detached, nothing like the warm connection he shared with the sisters. "His consciousness remains distinct," one reported, surprise evident in her voice. "The bond has not overwhelmed his identity." "Now," Elder Sira said, "demonstrate the purpose of this forbidden connection." Mira and Tarek joined hands, forming a triangle as they had done many times before. But now, instead of simply sharing memories, they focused on creating something new. The essence energy flowed between them, manifesting as complex patterns of light above their heads. Tarek contributed his knowledge of Earth's environmental restoration techniques. Vila added Luminari understanding of crystal harmonics. Mira wove in her expertise on biological synchronicity. Together, they presented a solution to the deterioration of luminous crystal foresta, a problem the Council had struggled with for generations. As the demonstration ended, silence fell over the chamber. Elder Sira approached, her expression unreadable. "In all my years," she said finally, "I've never witnessed such a perfect synthesis of knowledge. This bond has indeed created something unexpected."
Out flickered through their shared connection, but the elder wasn't finished. "However, the law remains.
Human Luminari bonds are forbidden not just for fear of domination, but because such connections alter the essence of both species. The Council must consider the implications for all Luminari, not just 3 individuals." "Then consider this," came a voice from the chamber entrance. An ancient Luminari, supported by a crystal staff, made her way forward. Lyris, the elder Mira, had contacted. "I have studied the ancient records," Lyris announced. "Before the Prohibition, human Luminari bonds created an era of unprecedented advancement. Our ancestors feared the rapid change and enacted the ban not from wisdom but from fear." The chamber erupted in debate. Through the essence bond, Derek felt the sisters' anxiety and determination swirling with his own emotions. Elder Sira raised her hand for silence. "The Council will deliberate. Until then, the bond will not be severed, but neither will it be sanctioned." As the Council members withdrew to their private chamber, Tarek realized they faced the most critical moment of their journey together. The next decision would determine not just their fate, but potentially the future relationship between two worlds. 3 days of deliberation passed, during which Tarek and the sisters were kept in comfortable but closely monitored quarters within the council complex. Their bond remained strong, allowing them to share strength and comfort despite the uncertainty. "Whatever happens," Mira said as they sat in their shared garden, "the connection we've formed has changed us forever." Vila, who had grown increasingly protective of both Tarek and their bond, nodded. "No decree can undo what we've become to each other." Tarek felt the truth of their words through the essence link. What had begun as a desperate act of survival had evolved into something profounder. Connection that transcended physical attraction or even emotional attachment. They had become essential parts of each other's being. On the morning of the 4th day, they were summoned to the council chamber. The full assembly of Luminari elders sat in a semicircle, with Elder Sira at the center. The vast chamber was filled with observers, it seemed. The entire capital had come to witness the decision. "Approach," Elder Sira commanded. Tariq walked forward with Vila and Mira, their hands joined. The purple glow of their shared essence pulsed visibly between them, impossible to hide or deny. "The council has reached a decision," Elder Sira announced. "It has not been unanimous, nor has it been easy." She rose from her seat, her ancient eyes moving from the sisters to Tarek. "For generations, we have isolated ourselves from humans, believing separation was the path to safety and preservation. Yet in doing so, we have stagnated. The demonstration you provided has shown us a glimpse of what might be possible." A murmur ran through the assembly. "Therefore," the elder continued, "while the general prohibition on human luminary bonds will remain in place for now, this particular connection will be recognized as legitimate, a test case from which we may learn." Relief flooded through their bond, but Elder Sira wasn't finished. "However, a choice must still be made. Tarek Nader, you came to our world by accident. Your people believe you lost. A decision must be made regarding your future." Tarek felt the sisters' anxiety spike through their connection. "You may choose to return to Earth, taking with you knowledge of our world and people. If you choose this path, we will provide technology to sustain your bond across the distance of space, though it will be weakened by separation." Vila's hand tightened around his. "Alternatively," the elder said, "you may choose to remain on Lumina as an official ambassador from Earth the First in centuries. This would allow your bond to flourish and could begin a new chapter in the relationship between our worlds." The choice hung in the air between them. Through the essence bond, Tarek felt the sisters' hopes and fears, their desire for him to stay, tempered by understanding of what he would sacrifice. Tarek closed his eyes, reaching through their connection to share his thoughts. He showed them Earth, its beauty, its people, his life there. He let them feel his love for his home planet, his responsibility to his mission. Then he opened his eyes and spoke. "On Earth, I was an explorer, searching the stars for new life and knowledge. I never imagined I would find not just a new world, but a new way of being." He turned to Vila and Mira, their faces reflecting the purple glow that united them. "The bond we share has shown me possibilities I never knew existed. It has taught me that connection transcends physical distance, cultural differences, even species boundaries." Taking a deep breath, Tarek faced the council. "I choose both. I will remain on Lumina to nurture this bond and serve as an ambassador. But I also choose to establish communication with Earth, to share what I've learned here, not the secrets of your world, but the knowledge that meaningful contact is possible between our peoples." Elder Sira's expression remained impassive. "Such a path has never been attempted, which is precisely why it must be," Tarek replied. "The essence bond has shown us that separation leads to stagnation. Connection, even across differences, leads to growth." Through their bond, he felt the sisters' pride and love washing over him like a wave. After a long moment, Elder Sira nodded. "Right. Let this unprecedented bond become a bridge between worlds long separated." As the council session ended, Tarek stood with Vela and Mira at the highest point of the Crystal City, looking up at the stars. Somewhere among them was Earth, no longer his only home, but still a part of who he was. "They'll send a probe to establish contact with your people," Mira said, leaning against his shoulder. "It will take time, but eventually, Eventually, worlds that have been apart will find a new way forward. Vela finished, her usual intensity softened by contentment. Tarek felt the essence bond pulsing between them, stronger than ever. What had begun as an unthinkable demand connection across, boundaries never meant to be crossed, had become something beautiful and transformative, as luminous three moons rose in the sky. Casting their light over the crystal landscape, Tarek realized that his crash landing had never been an accident. It had been the beginning of a journey that would extend far beyond the stars, to the very essence of what it meant to be truly connected. The purple glow of their shared bond illuminated the night, a beacon of possibility in a universe where distance was just another boundary, waiting to be transcended by the most powerful force of all connection.